That night, for the first time since moving to Brooklyn, I went out onto the street. I waited until night, and even though it was early October, I wore a big coat with a hood, which I pulled up over my face. I wrapped a scarf around my chin and cheeks. I hurried close to the buildings, turning so people wouldn't see me, ducking into alleys to avoid coming too close to anyone. I shouldn't have to do this, I thought. I am Kyle Kingsbury. I am someone special. I shouldn't have been reduced to skulking in alleyways, hiding behind garbage dumpsters, waiting for some stranger to yell, "Monster!" I should have been with people. Yet, I hid and ducked and skulked and luckily went unnoticed. That was the weird thing. No one noticed me, even those who seemed to look right at me. Unreal. I knew where I wanted to go. Gin Elliott, from my class at Tuttle, had the hottest parties at its parents' place in Soho when they were away. I'd been watching The Mirror, so I knew they'd be away this weekend. They always stayed in the Hamptons over the weekend. I couldn't go to the party, not as a stranger, and certainly not as myself, as Kyle Kingsbury reduced to nothing. But I thought that maybe, just maybe, I could stand outside the party and watch people going in and out and who enjoy getting drunk. I could watch them from Brooklyn, sure, but I wanted to be there. No one would recognize me. My only risk was that maybe someone would see me, that I would be captured, held as a monster, maybe made a zoo creature, not a small risk, but my loneliness made me brave. I could do it. And still, as people travelled to where they wanted to go, it seemed they were looking, but they never really saw me. Did I dare to take the subway? I did dare. It was the only way. I found the station I'd seen so many times from my window, and pushing back once again the thought of being placed in a zoo and having my friends come there on field trips to see me. I bought a Metro card and waited for the next train. When it arrived, it wasn't crowded. Rush hour was over. Still, I sat away from the other passengers, taking the worst seat in the back. I faced the window. Even so, a woman in a nearby seat moved away when I sat. I watched her, reflected in the window pane, as she passed me, holding her breath. She would have been able to see my animal reflection if she'd looked. But she didn't look, just walked, lurching against the movement of the train, wrinkling her nose as if she smelled something bad. She went to the farthest part of the car to sit, but she didn't say anything. Then I figured it out. Of course, it was warm. In my heavy coat and scarf, I looked like a homeless person. That's what I thought I was, the people on the street and the train. That's why they hadn't looked at me. No one looked at the homeless. I was invisible. I could walk the streets, and as long as I kept my face sort of hidden, no one would notice me. It was freedom, in a way. Braver, I looked around. Sure enough, not one eye met mine. Everyone looked at their books, or their friends, or just away.